get you back to your feet. What we all need is someone in our corner. Someone like Dr. Tongie.
Hi, I have 3 questions for you. 1, have you discovered your purpose? 2, have you discovered your ability? And 3, are you planning your life's path?
Dr. Tongie has inspired audiences on radio stations throughout the U.S. and in the Caribbean on KISS FM with the Dr. Tongie Show. Now, sister station Hot 7 TV teams up with KISS FM to bring the Dr. Tongie Show to television.
I will share my wealth of experience, my affinity to life, and assist you in fulfilling your call. By tuning in to the Dr. Tongie Show on Hot 7 TV and KISS FM, you and I will begin to explore the answers to these questions and many more. And in these challenging times, it's just what the doctor ordered.
Find another KISS 105 FM, the class of music radio. KISS 105 FM.
Not that yet. You already know what time it is. It's time for the Dr. Tongie Show.
Your grace and mercies.
Hey, good morning, and welcome to another amazing day. How about that? Happy Monday, everyone. It's me, your girl, Dr. Tongie, and we are broadcasting live from the beautiful country of St. Lucia, located right here in the Caribbeans, and on KISS FM, 105.9 and 105.5, and we have an app called the Caribbean Hot FM app, and on there you'll be able to see exactly what's coming on the shows. You'll be able to see KISS FM and check your girl out. Yeah, man, we're here every Monday and Friday from 11 to 11:30. I want to thank each and every one of you. You know who you are, who supports this show. Thank you so very much. If you're watching by way of Facebook Live, good morning. YouTube Live, Instagram Live, thank you. I do not take it lightly nor for granted that you're choosing to hang out with us for just a half an hour, right? Now, on my website, www.drtongieshow.com, you can find all of our past shows, and when we started at this place called LA Talk Live, and we talked about kingdom principles until the day we left, and we're still doing it. So check us out, all right? Now, you know how we do it, man. I do not like to start a show without saying, good morning, how you doing? How was your weekend? You guys know him as DJ Marlon, and I know him as gentle giant and friend. Good morning, man.
Good morning, Dr. Tongie. Yes, it's me.
Yeah, man.
Sunday.
Yeah, how you doing?
How am I doing?
Yeah.
I never really thought about that. How am I doing? I'm good. I'm
you're
good. I'm good.
Yeah, good.
I well rested.
Good. Very good.
But I don't know if I really wanted to be, you know?
Yeah.
I felt like I should have been somewhere. I should have been doing something yesterday. But nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
I'm still good with it.
Oh my gosh. Very good, man. Thank you so much for showing up.
I bet you never heard it that way.
Nope. No, I have not. But I will accept what you're saying.
Yeah.
I will. If this is your first time listening in or tuning in to this show, you're probably wondering, what is this show about? This show is about encouraging you. It's about motivating you. It's about making sure you understand just who you are. You are great, and you should know that, and you probably already do. You are truly invincible. You're created with a divine purpose. That is who you are. That's just some of who you are. The foundation of this show is based on kingdom principles. Now, I want you to realize with me what a kingdom is. The governing influence of a king over a territory, impacting it with his will, his intent, producing a citizenship of people, that's you and I, who reflects the king's culture, his nature, his values, and morals. A kingdom is a country where the citizens reflect the king's lifestyle. Now this kingdom is real, man. It's just as real as you're being able to hear me, to see me, to take in air, to breathe, right? It is real. Now, what is a principle? A principle is the original intent of something. And in this case, it's God's law, his rules of conducting our lives. These principles have keys that unlock them. And those keys give us access to what is already ours. But you gotta learn the keys, right? And if not, you're merely quoting scriptures, and that's nothing wrong with that. But in a day and time when you need to see God's word activated in your life, then you're going to need some keys to see that. Now, what can you expect from the show? I've got a little system that I put in place called the HOST system, which is honesty, openness, and sincerity. It is a heart for you to grow with actionable goals, okay? If you're in business, it's business empowerment. I need you to be deployed into your purpose, not your purpose per se, but his purpose for your life. I really need you to be deployed in that. You heard me talk about this GoFundMe campaign that I've got going on, and it's for my babies of ancillary, and it's to make certain that they have their books and they have their school uniforms, and God's willing, you'll start to see us real soon, if not this week, down there, and you'll get to see exactly what your money is going to go towards if you haven't given already. So I need you to check out my website and check out what we're doing on in ancillary, and you will definitely be blessed by it. I just know you will. Now, coming up right after this brief moment, we're going to talk about today's kingdom principle, which is how to communicate. What is communication, and how do we do it effectively? Stay tuned. So challenged in life that you felt like you were all alone? Or perhaps you've had dreams that looked as if they would never come into fruition. Or maybe you've tried again only to experience failure. If you answered yes to any or all of these questions, then I've got a system that I know will help you move from where you are to where you really desire to be. Would you join me, Dr. Tongie of the Dr. Tongie Show, on Mondays and Fridays from 11 to 11:30 on KISS FM 105.9 and 105.5. It's just what the doctor ordered. I guess it's my turn, yeah? Good morning. Can I just say hello to Miss Barbara Augustine? Good morning, Miss Barbara. She is always supporting, man. She tunes in, and she's on Facebook Live, and she's saying, good morning, my lovely. Always a pleasure listening to you. I had to get that one out, Barbara. I did. And, of course, my big brother, Johnny McAdoo. How you doing? So good to have you here, man. Thank you. All right, so let's get started with this kingdom principle today. And it's really important, and I say that because there are times when I have problems exercising what good, effective communication is. All right. So how many times have you been in a conversation with someone, and after some time it becomes quite intense, right? You speak the other person speaks, you speak again, the other person speaks. Then you find yourselves, if you're not careful, both of you speaking at the same time. Yelling ensues, and now what should have been a conversation between two people becomes an all-out argument with feelings of hostility, hurt words spoken, and confusion. And that's just to name a few. Now, do you really think that either one of you were effectively communicating? Yeah, you were communicating, but were you effectively communicating? So here's what I've learned in my studies, right? Everything begins with an idea. When an idea is accepted by the mind, it becomes a precept, an original idea. When it is conceived, it becomes a concept, the picture of an idea. See, concepts, when they are communicated by words, become the medium in which we use to expose a thought, an idea container. So what is communication? Communication is the process of creating and sharing ideas or precepts, which becomes a concept. And when concepts are communicated, right, that's when your thought is exposed. And the medium that we expose or share our thoughts are words. It's real simple. Or is it? Involved in the act of communication or communicating, you gotta have a few things. One, an agreement of the defining of the words, or the meaning of the words. You guys agree. We agree that, okay, we understand what the words are. Two, having the same meaning of concepts. And then three, there's got to be a message, right? There's got to be an idea, the information, the view, the fact, the feelings, and it just goes on and on. But this is generated by the sender and intended to be communicated further. So with that, you got to have this thing called understanding. This is the ability to interpret the meaning of something. You know, how something works, the processes of it. And then there's got to be revelation. And these are the things that we're talking about, the act of communicating. We hadn't even gotten to communicating just yet. There's got to be a revelation. And this is the disclosure or communication of truth. And we all understand that when we are ensued or endowed with revelation, we believe it as believers, believe that the Holy Spirit is indeed revealing something that He has provided for us to understand. That's revelation. Now, the other thing that's needed for the act of communicating is you gotta have a receiver. So there's a sender, the communicator, and then there's a receiver, the one who receives what you're saying. This is the person who receives the message, the receiver. He understands or she understands the message in its proper perspective and acts according to the message. Now, that's communication. And unfortunately, we find ourselves sometimes miscommunicating. We find ourselves screaming at one another and saying, slanderous things at times. And we consider that to be communicating effectively, but it really is not. Always trying to get the last word in, your point made. We're thinking that we're communicating effectively, but we're not. See, when my concepts are the same that are in your mind, and the words that I use to communicate those concepts have the same meaning as your words, and there is a message, there's an understanding, revelation has come, and you receive what I am saying, then you and I can begin our conversation and know that we will effectively communicate. You get it? See, when you're communicating effectively, there is an act that we all must adhere to. And we don't talk about this a lot. We do not. But, you know, there are times when you just got to study to be quiet. In other words, you need to listen. All effective communication is predicated on our ability to listen to one another. And that's an art form. It deals with us being undisturbed in our conversation, us being at peace or peaceable, right? And tranquil. And these are words that identify our heart. So what you saying, Dr. Tongie? When you are communicating effectively, you're going to speak from your heart. And the words that you use are going to be words to empower, to build up, to motivate, not to bring down or disparage or egregiously affect someone. See, when you are communicating effectively, it is you receiving and encoding and decoding and trying to really gain an understanding. You give up your right to be right. Seriously. When you are engaged in effective communication, you listen. You really do. You listen. You don't just hear what the other person is saying. You are actively listening. Your having the last words, like I said, is no form of effective communicating. It isn't. You restraining your words and quieting your soul, and that's biblical, y'all. That's in our Constitution, and it goes like in 1 Thessalonians 4:11, studying to be quiet and to do your own business is what I think it was our Apostle Paul that declared that. So effective communication, it's important, especially in today's times when it's so easy to jump on social media and tell a person a piece of your mind, or to say that you are communicating with the masses. And you do absolutely nothing to encourage. You do nothing to build up. You do nothing to motivate. You do nothing. I mean, come on, man. Life sometimes is hard as it is. The last thing we need is someone to say that they're communicating with us when, in fact, they're screaming at us. And it makes no sense. You get my point? 450-5477 is the number that you can call and have an in-studio session with me. 758-450-5477 should you want to use your thumbs and use the WhatsApp application. Effective communication. You know I'm getting to you, dude. You already know.
I do. I know you are. I'm just reaching.
You know, there's a lot that goes into communicating with someone, you know?
I'm happy you mentioned social media, because this is what it really is all about. You mentioned the future, what people are doing right now. And on social media, let me tell you, communication almost isn't what communication is supposed to be. I know. Effective communication. Right. But the communication is more affecting and people. Because you can't, it's impossible for you to probably say something, whether it's positive or what, for somebody to actually have a conversation with you about it. It's always putting you down or disrespecting you. So this has gone on another level, especially right now. I'm not sure what's happening around the world, but I can tell you here in St. Lucia, there's almost no real sit down and let's have a conversation kind of thing. It's always let me tell you what it is. That kind
absolutely.
Of thing.
Absolutely.
And I speak over you, and I'll tell you what it really is. That kind of thing.
Just because you're louder than I am doesn't mean that you're really effectively communicating with me, right?
Not at all.
Oh my gosh! Don't you just love that?
Sometimes you just decided to put something out there. and you think somebody, listen, communication could be we having this thing, we can disagree.
Yeah.
We can
there you
disagree.
Go. Absolutely.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be all over me and jump
Right.
all over me or disrespect me or, you know, this isn't conversation.
Yeah, man.
That's all.
Don't you love his his analogies here? 450-5477 is the number that you can reach us in studio. I want to say good morning to my beloved Jacqueline Hunter. Oh, I love you, man. I know. I owe you a phone call. Please be patient with me. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you, Miss Ania Clary. Thank you so much for joining us on Facebook Live. It's a blessing to have you here.
All right, we always get a message from Magdalena.
Oh,
of course.
yes, absolutely.
So, we'll get to that. Good morning, Dr. Tongie. And
Good morning, baby.
Happy Monday to you. Communication is very important, and not just communication, but effective communication, so we can understand each other. It is important to listen before we speak. As too many times, conflict arises as we misunderstand each other, and our words and tone hurt others. Ephesians 4:29 says, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of our mouth, but only what is helping for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Communicating entails words, and we need to remember words are powerful.
They are.
So understanding and wisdom is key for effective communication. We must know when to speak and when to remain silent. Quick to listen, slow to speak. Have a marvelous day, guys.
Oh, wow.
And
Amen.
she also says we should refrain from, be mindful to refrain from communicating when angry.
Yes.
It won't be effective, but be effective.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Thank you so much, my Maggie, for your contribution, and you're spot on. Especially that last part that you put in there, angry. Do not speak when you're angry. You know what I mean? You'll hurt someone, and it's just not a good situation to be in to speak when you're angry. It really is not. So take into consideration. If you're angry, just say, you know what, we'll deal with this conversation a little later. How about that? 450-5477 makes your contribution known in-house. 758-450-5477 if you're using the app WhatsApp. I know my Kaden is listening. Thank you so much, Kaden and Kendrick, for listening. And thank you for being so kind to your pawpaw. Because I know that's what you're doing, right? Yep, absolutely you are. 450-5477. Effective communication. How do we communicate? How have we been communicating in times past? Can we do a better job at it? You know, of course we can.
Of course, definitely. That is something we definitely, can do. But I don't think we just want to be jumping on everything so quickly.
Yeah.
We don't take time out to think about what, like Magdalena said. We don't think about what it is that we're going to say, and then we just decide to open our mouths. And I'm pretty sure there are many times people have decided to say something and thought about it and
dang, I wish I hadn't said
probably
that.
should not have said
man.
that, right? Yeah, but because you just wanted to say it when the opportunity was there, and you thought you could have been all over somebody.
Yeah.
But then especially in social media, if you've written it, it's there.
Oh, yeah. So be careful what you write, right?
Think about it.
Think about it.
And then you decide.
Oh,
I'm
my
gonna respond.
God.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to say good morning to Miss Leanna Johans. Oh, please tell me.
Johannes.
Miss Leanna Johannes. Thank you so very much. She's sending love our way. We're accepting that, man. Thank you. How cool is it to have someone that just brightens your day with a beautiful word like that? So thank you. We're talking about the kingdom principle of communicating and how to do it effectively. We talked about in the act of communicating, you gotta have an agreement on the definition of the words that you're even speaking about. You have to have the same meaning of concept. There's gotta be a message that you're trying to convey, all right? The idea, the information, the view, the fact. You gotta have an understanding, which is the ability to interpret the meaning of something, all right? And then, of course, there's revelation to this meaning, and we know that to be the disclosure or communication of truth. Revelation is always going to be with truth. It will always be with truth. There's actually got to be a receiver, because the sender, the one who's talking, right? They don't want to talk by themselves. So you got to have a receiver. This is the person who receives the message, who understands the message in its proper perspective and acts accordingly. So those are 6. I guess if you were saying these are 6 keys or 6 foundational truths to communicating. And then we talked about effectively communicating, and we all understand that to be, right? When you're effectively communicating, there is a revelation, there is an understanding, there's a message. You guys are agreeing upon the same thing. And even if you agree to disagree, there's always a modicum of respect that comes with effectively communicating. It really does. And you just want to be a good listener when you are effectively communicating with someone. I remember when I was growing up, I would always try to get the last word in. It was almost like playing double dutch. And if you're from my neck of the woods, if you could jump with 2 jump ropes, in between 2 jump ropes, man, you were doing the do. So I practiced the art of jumping rope. But in that practicing, I found myself wanting to always hurry up and get the word in, or hurry up and get my thought in, not taking into consideration what the other person was trying to communicate to me. So be careful, not always trying to hurry up and get your word in or get your thought in. Just kind of listen when you're communicating. It's really important. And we as humans, I won't even talk about the spiritual aspect of who we are, who we really are. We got to learn to just slow it down, man, and I don't need to be right. I don't need to be heard. If I am taking the time to have a conversation, then that is important. You think about it. We're not the creators of time. So when you give me something that is as important as your time, then you're telling me that I matter, and that what I'm bringing to the table matters as well. So I have to make certain that I'm operating and listening to what you're saying. Not just hearing you, but listening, okay? That's effective communicating. That's effective communicating, not just communicating. 450-5477, 758-450-5477 if you're using WhatsApp. But communication is really key. And now more than ever, we got to learn how to communicate. And with our babies returning to school, mommies and daddies and aunts and uncles and big mamas and nanas, whoever is responsible for making certain that those babies get what they're in need of, and how we sow into our children, right? Got to make sure that we are listening to them as well. I remember my little person, Kendrick, saying to me about a particular teacher. And he says, but she didn't listen to me, Nana. She never listened. She just talk. Hey, 6-year-old, right? With that kind of concept. So if babies can get it, then so can adults, right? Let's go out of our way to make certain that we are listening, that we are talking the same language. And that language is understanding. And we do everything that we do it in love. Love is our greatest aim. And when love is your greatest aim, you're going to be very careful what you say. And not only what you say to someone, you're going to be real careful on how you say it. All right? 450-5477 is the number that you can reach us. We're about to go off, so you better hurry up. And if you don't, that's all right, because God's willing and the creek don't rise. We'll do it again on Friday. But if you really do have a bona fide contribution and you don't get an opportunity to call in or make it known, then definitely send us the WhatsApp. We'll get to it, or drop us a line, right? On all social media platforms is at Dr. Tongie Show. And if you're watching by way of Facebook Live, you can drop it live right there. Yep, you sure can. And I'm reading them and responding. How about that? 450-5477. The act of communicating, the art of effectively communicating. There's an art to it, and we have the ability to be as artsy, all right, as we possibly can. But remember, everything we do it in love. That's our greatest aim, especially on this show. Love is truly our greatest aim. All right? 450-5477. All right, what'd you about to say? I'm sorry.
I'm trying to give you
I know, right?
just so you know, I don't usually look out for when the theme comes.
Yeah,
through,
man.
But you're not going to be hearing it this
Yeah,
time
yeah.
around, So.
So I just got to say bye. All right. That's my cue. I love you, man. I do. To the moon and the stars. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Remember to be kind to yourselves. Be loving. Be patient. All right? Be gentle. You got this. You really do. And as my dear friend Tori would say, if God brought you to it, I promise you He can bring you through it. All right? Till next time, I love you. I love you. I love you. Have an amazing day. Bye.
Sometimes life can knock you off the ground, but surprisingly, an encouraging word can hoist you back to your feet. What we all need is someone in our corner, someone like Dr. Tongie.
Hi. I have 3 questions for you. 1, have you discovered your purpose? 2, have you discovered your ability? And 3, are you planning your life's path?
Dr. Tongie has inspired audiences on radio stations throughout the U.S. and in the Caribbean on KISS FM with the Dr. Tongie Show. Now, sister station Hot 7 TV teams up with KISS FM to bring the Dr. Tongie Show to television.
I will share my wealth of experience, my affinity to life, and assist you in fulfilling your call. By tuning in to the Dr. Tongie Show on Hot 7 TV and KISS FM, you and I will begin to explore the answers to these questions and many more. And in these challenging times, it's just what the doctor